Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, ended months of speculation and suspense about his political future as he formally announced on Monday his intention to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari in the 2023 presidential election. The announcement, which came through a video released on Osinbajo's social media pages, followed weeks of consultation and after the Vice President had formally informed President Buhari. A day to the announcement, Professor Osinbajo on Sunday night had met with governors elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress to inform them about his presidential ambition. Human rights activist and senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to free all petty thieves and criminals in detention. Falana spoke in Lagos on Friday at the one-year remembrance held in honor of late former Afenifere spokesperson Yinka Odumakin in reaction to the state pardon granted a former governor of Taraba State, Jolly Yame, and former governor of Plateau State, Joshua Dariye, alongside 157 others by the Council of State. For his reaction to these developments, we're now being joined by a former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Chief Agunwa Anaekwe. Chief Anaekwe, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us on This Day Live.
Thank you very much. Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Well, Chief Anaekwe, let me ask you, the state pardon granted to 2 former governors and 157 others is generating a lot of controversy. Some people say that, well, these are privileged Nigerians, even if there are others on that list. And Falana SAN, I said, well, maybe the government should just pardon all petty thieves if persons who were accused of having stolen or laundered 1.16 billion naira in the case of former governor Inyame, and then in the case of Joshua Dariye, 1.62 billion naira also. Well, from a legal perspective, Michael Zekome has even said that the Council of State acted in error because the offenses for which those 2 former governors were convicted were state offenses, and that only the governors of their respective states could have granted pardon. But in any case, here we are. The president exercising his prerogative of mercy under Section 175, subsection 1 of the Constitution, and the Council of State, given its own imprimatur under Section 175, subsection 5 of the same Constitution. But what do you think about this idea of state pardon?
Well, thank you for having me once again. State pardon as an issue is enshrined in the Constitution for a purpose. The idea is to grant the President and the Council of State the opportunity of reviewing convictions and see where there are deserving reasons why somebody should be pardoned and granted amnesty. And before they exercise their right, I guess they have to consider a whole lot of things. Most of them are not in the public domain. And so it is really difficult for somebody to sit outside and then imagine what happened inside before the issue of pardon is granted. I would say that it looks a bit inconvenient to have somebody that has been convicted granted pardon while others are not. But then it will amount to an argument which can go either way. And for me, as a person, I find myself reluctant to take any definitive position on matters like this, except I am availed of all the facts and all the reasons why both the President and the Council of State decided to grant amnesty and pardon to the people concerned. There are 157 of them or so, and each case must have been looked at on its merit. And I believe it would be wrong for me to prejudge or state that this is what happened or that was what happened because I don't know the full facts. And I don't want to hazard any guess. So in conclusion, I will say that I grant the President and the Council of State the privilege they have to do what they have done. And I believe that maybe with time we'll come to know the reasons why they acted the way they did and appreciate their reasoning. That's my response.
Okay, well, I mean, in the introduction, I mentioned that Vice President Osinbajo has declared his interest in the 2023 presidential election and is promising continuity. But the APC, you are a member of the APC now, seems to have quite an emerging long list. You have Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu there. You have Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo indicating his interest. You have Minister of Transportation, former Governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, former Governor of Imo State, Rocha Sokorocha, Governor of Kogi State, Governor Yahaya Bello. And then in the papers today, we're told that Dr. Chris Ngige is the latest to throw his hat into the ring when he announced at the Akano Ibiam Airport over the weekend, in fact yesterday, that he would make his own intention known on Tuesday, April 19, we're told. Now, if you look at this long list, who will you say is your favorite person? And if you look at it, there are persons from the South, someone from the North Central, that's the governor of Kogi State. And it looks like this whole conversation about Igbo presidency is getting lost in the details. Where do you stand? And what do you think of the candidates that have emerged so far in your party?
Well, you are right. I'm a member of the APC. And in my party, a good number of people have declared their intention to run. And I want to say that almost all of them are qualified to run. And since they are qualified to run, constitutionally, they're entitled to present themselves to run. But I'm seeing beyond that constitutional entitlement. I'm seeing it that Nigeria as a nation deserve healing, deserve inclusiveness, deserve participation from every sector of the nation, so that everybody can bring his best and contribute his quota to the development of the country. We cannot continue to play the ostrich, believing that only what concerns us is good and good enough for the country. In this country, all of us were around when in 1999, it pleased this country to allow people of a certain region to produce the president of this country. And it's for a reason. Both myself and MKO Abiola, we were in the same party then. And we suffered. We tried to get the military out, and in the process, the entire thing was quashed. And as a result of that, in order to heal the nation, it was decided that the Southwest should have the presidential ticket of all the two major parties. And that was how it happened. And I guess that this nation benefited immensely from that. In the same way, we all know what happened in the Niger Delta. When there was a lot of confusion, anxiety, and agitation, the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, God bless his soul, did all he could to bring peace in that region. He granted amnesty. He introduced a lot of presidential initiatives in order to bring succor to the people of the area, and in the process, quietened agitations. In the same way, I think that one part of this country has been complaining about marginalization since after the war. And this is 50-something years right now. And everybody is believing that it really doesn't matter whether it goes to A or B, it should come to me. And then we believe that once it comes to you, everybody must follow. It doesn't work that way. All of us must play a part in this nation if we really want this country to move forward. What I'm saying in effect is that I believe that, well and good, my party has zoned the presidency to the south. But I think we should be more courageous and microzone it to the southeast. To heal the wounds, the complaints of these people, to bring them back fully into the nation, to encourage them to contribute their very best. And like I said, almost all of them are qualified to run. They can offer good leadership depending on their own experiences. So I think that the people you have mentioned, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Ashwaju, Professor Yemi, Rotimi Amechi, they're all good candidates. My own friend, Chris Ngige, is an excellent candidate too. And I would prefer the entire nation to solve one aspect of our national challenge, which is to involve the Southeast in what is happening in Nigeria. Because there's no way you expect total peace in the country when a segment of the country is completely sidelined and underrepresented. So I believe that talking about zoning to the south is not enough. As it is, people should be courageous enough in the interest of the country to push this thing down to the southeast. A lot of people have shown courage. People like the leader of Afenifere, Ayo Adebanjo, people like Pa Edwin Clark, they have shown courage by coming out openly. There are many people like that in the country to say, take it to the southeast. I'm only saying this because across this country, the problems we have and will continue to have is the problem of not addressing the problems of all of us. People believe that yes, is to rule, others to follow. It doesn't work that way. I think inclusiveness and participation should involve every one of us. And for a start, let us address one segment of this country, a major segment of this country that has contributed this quota in all the struggles for the emancipation and liberation of this country. I don't think it's asking for too much to say, Southeast, allow this zone to produce the president. They have people who can do that. I know from your question that His Excellency Dr. Chris Mwabezengike, the present Minister of Labor and Employment, would be a perfect choice. I am saying this because he came in from a background of public service. This is a man who retired as a director in the Federal Ministry of Health before moving into politics. He came into politics, served in the party then, and after that became the governor of Anambra State. And the type of vision and courage he brought to Anambra State is such that there is no single Igbo man who has an idea of what he did in Anambra State who will not be happy to have him replicate that in Nigeria. In Anambra State, he proved that governors can do a lot of things, including major roads and bridges. He was the person who started it. Others were just following. And if he could do that with the meager resources of then, and still left something for the P2B government when he came, it shows he's a good manager, he's a visionary leader, and he's a man with a big heart. He's courageous. You need to see roads that were abandoned for 20, 30, 40 years, which nobody thought anybody could revive. But lo and behold, he attacked them and brought them back. And the roads he built 20 years ago, they are still standing as built by Ngige. In Anambra State, it's called Ngige Standard. It means he has the ability to connect with the people through what they want. He was a governor that was abducted, but he provided security through his own special brand of vigilante operations. He was able to secure the entire Anambra State, and everybody could go about his business without any problem. Even as a senator, they relied on his past experiences because the civil service gave him that ability to think things through, to analyze things properly and critically, and to apply those things to whatever he's doing. So you see a man of detail, a man who will not want anything to go wrong by virtue of an oversight. Is somebody who is thorough and thorough to a fault.
Chief Anaekwe, well, I mean, I've heard you very well. At least you have the bias for a president of Eastern extraction, right? And if you look at the shortlist, although you've tried to promote your friend, Dr. Chris Ngige, there are others also in your party from the East. I mentioned Rocha Sokorocha. I mentioned Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi. I think Minister Rotimi Amechi is also insisting that he's an Igbo man and that nobody can take that away from him. But you've talked about Dr. Ngige. He was governor for 34 months in Anambra State, if I recall correctly. But look at him as Minister of Labor and Employment, the kind of running battle he's been having with ASU and also with resident doctors. If he declares, as he has promised, on Tuesday, do you think he'll be able to get the votes of resident doctors, and also of members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities?
I want to assure you that the Minister of Labor and Employment is capable and able to deliver on his mandate. Mark you, that ministry is the most difficult, if I may say, in terms of relating with people who are stakeholders in the ministry. You are talking about people who are constantly fighting and agitating for their rights. And you can't blame anybody for agitating for his rights. And we must give him kudos. For almost 7 years, he has always sliced through all these problems as if he was eating a cake. It is at this particular point that appears to be a bit of a hiccup. But look back, we've had crises all these years, and he's been able to deliver on them. And now, I still have belief that he will sort this particular one out. This is a man who has been a civil servant, so he knows how the civil servants feel, he knows how the labor people feel, and he's also a man who has been around in terms of governance and public activities. So he knows what it feels like to be on the spot. And I believe that Mr. President got him right when he posted him there.
Chief.
Because not everybody would have handled that position.
Chief, for purposes of balance,
and I
wanted you to comment on the other aspirants too, from the East.
I will do that now. 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 See, when I tried to start, I said that all of them are qualified. Now, but you gave me opportunity of who is your choice. I am a Nigerian, I'm entitled to have a choice. And my choice is Dr. Chris Ngige. But that is not to say that Rocha Sokorocha, Dave Umahi, and others, Chiwika Amechi, that are not qualified. They're all good candidates. But Chris Ngige is somebody I have studied and I have come to realize can help us sort out the problems we have in the country. I think the problem is ability to deliver, provide welfare, provide services, and carry people along. I have known all these people you mentioned for some time. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Excellency, was in the National Assembly with me in 1991, 92, 93. He was there with me. I know him very well. He's a smart person, very capable and experienced. But I have said that if you give me the chance to advise, I will tell them, please, let us be courageous enough and allow this zone to produce for this time being. After this, other people can come. It is not an indication that you can't do it. They can all do it. Rotimi Amechi can do it. He has all the qualifications. He's been a speaker, he's been a governor, he's been a minister so many times over. So I am not trying to diminish any of them. I'm only pleading with every single Nigerian that is not from the Southeast zone, that is not Igbo, let me say not Igbo, to please show understanding for the good of the country and allow this zone to begin to heal. After 30 months of civil war, they should begin to heal. They should begin to feel a part of this nation and make their full contributions. They have always done that. They will continue to do it. But if you allow them this leverage, they will do better. In the same way, if other part of the country that is bothered by one problem or the other, my belief is that all of us should engage and try to resolve the problems there. Because if you are a family and one person is not happy, there's no way you can pretend to be happy. That is just the truth. We should go to Northeast, find out the real causes of the problem there, and begin to think of how to address. The same thing with the Northwest. The same thing with the Middle Belt. The South-South and the Southeast and the Southwest. The same thing. Every region has its own problem. And I think none should be swept under the carpet. We should try to bring them together, look at them critically, and try to solve the problem. So that everybody can reject his mindset. We should begin to show love in this country. Such that you don't think because the president is from my area, then anybody can go to her. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you will see that it matters because you won't get cooperation of the other person. Nigeria cannot prosper if all the zones of this country don't come together to cooperate and bring in their best. That is the point I'm making. I'm not saying that other people are not qualified. They are very, very qualified. I'm only begging them, in the interest of this country, to begin with the Southeast. And after Southeast, go to the Southwest, South-South, Northeast, Northwest, North Central. There are problems everywhere. We should begin to address these problems so that everybody will come out in happiness and begin to talk about this country. It should be about Nigeria first now. Because if we don't have love of this country, that is why you'll be seeing all these things happening. People are really, really disenchanted, you know. So we'll begin to address these issues. And the ones that are very clear, like the Southeast issue that is very clear, should be addressed first, so that you can bring these people back first. The same way Yaradua brought in the South-South, you know, they should also do that to the Southeast, go to the Northeast, Northwest, and try to resolve all these crises. Nigeria cannot prosper in crisis. We must bring everybody together with love and then try and move forward together as a nation.
Well, Chief Anaekwe, just before we go, the guest that we had, before you joined us in the studio, Professor Usman Yusuf, in responding to the declaration by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, said the Vice President was talking about continuing from where, his principal will stop sometime next year after the elections. And that, in fact, nobody should vote for the APC, the All Progressives Congress, because the APC has nothing to continue in the interest of Nigerians. What do you say to that?
Well, I don't blame Professor for what he said. He was expressing his own opinion. As far as I know, APC in 7 years has done the best it could, and is still doing its best. And my belief is that at the end of the day, with the involvement and participation and cooperation of everybody, Nigeria will get it right. Professor Yemi Osinbajo is qualified. The point must be made quite clearly. He is very, very qualified. And if he says that he's going to continue with what his boss is doing, well, you can't blame him, but mark you, continue in his own way of doing things, in his own personal way of doing things. It's not rocket science. You may appreciate the principles of person A, but the way you apply the principles will differ. So I believe that he is qualified. If the mantle falls on him, I am not going to be disappointed because I know he will deliver. But that is not to subtract from the fact that I am saying that both himself and others outside the Southeast, outside the Igbo 9, should be able to grant us this concession and privilege. That's what I'm saying. And I believe that Igbos will not disappoint this nation. Never. Because so many people have tried to characterize Igbos as wanting to leave the nation. No. No. There is no place you don't have radicals and activists and all that and all that. And you can't ascribe the activities of activists and radicals to the entire zone. It is not done like that. The South South, when they had the agitations, it didn't say because they were agitating in the creeks, then that is South South as a whole, or because they are agitating in the creeks that they cannot produce a president. No, they produced a president, and the president gave us peace in this country. We saw it. So I believe the fact that some people are agitating for a separate state doesn't mean that Igbos are all for it. As a matter of fact, it is a known fact in Nigeria that Igbos in entirety, minus a few, do not want anything outside of Nigeria. Igbos believe in Nigeria. They fought for Nigeria's existence and independence, and they have not done anything to show that they want to opt out of Nigeria. So I believe that Professor who spoke is speaking against the background of what is happening in his own side of the country. And it's part of my thesis that we should be able to address all these issues one by one, not excluding anyone. So his own problem with insecurity in the Northwest is one of those things that must be addressed in this country. We must address it. So we must find out what is actually promoting it and try to address the challenges. So the same thing in Boko Haram. We can't say because this thing has been there since 2009 or thereabout, let us just forget about it. No, we have to bring it up and then address it frontally and be able to solve the problem. The same way the complaints of the Southeast that has been on since 1970 should be brought up fully and addressed frontally. So, as a matter of fact, if a nation of 6 people, one person is not happy, you don't expect 5 people to be happy. What am I saying? There are 6 geopolitical zones in this country, and one zone is complaining, others ignore it. The other ones will think that everything is normal. Everything is not normal because today, somebody is attacking A, you are not saying anything. Tomorrow they will attack B, you will still not say anything. The day they will attack you, nobody will say anything. And the country will keep wobbling from one place to the other until we end up where we don't want. So my own advice as a person is not to sweep any problem under the carpet. We have to have courage to address these problems when we get them, analyze them properly and address and find solutions to them, such that we must begin to have new values. Nigeria first, new values, service to the nation, new values, truth and honesty, and love for one another. These are critical issues. Not because the person involved there is from A state. I'm not interested. It doesn't concern me. That one is from B state, and it doesn't concern me. At the end of the day, something will concern you, and nobody will be interested, and all of us will be moving along as if nothing happened until we crash. Crash we don't want. I don't suggest. I believe in Nigeria. I have benefited from Nigeria, and I want my children to benefit also from Nigeria. In the university, I benefited as a student. Even as a politician, I benefited. Yes.
On that note,
so I want my children to also benefit.
Well, on that note, I would like to thank you very much, Chief Anaekwe, for joining us on This Day Live, the Sunday talk show. And we look forward to your friend's declaration on Tuesday, since you insist that he is the best man for the job, Dr. Chris Ngige. And I hope that there will be opportunity to deconstruct whatever he too promises Nigerians next week. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.